Today, I am joined by everybody's very good friend, Mr. Mal McCallion from Model Prop. How you doing, fella?
I'm really, really well, David. How are you?
I am very, very well, and I've been watching you going up and down the country on your on your right what we call the Right Move Resistance Tour.
That's the one.
Um, and it sort of captured my imagination anyway, and I imagine it must have sort of made everybody's ears prick up a bit because um, I think you've framed it as sort of a right move resistance thing because they are the dominant voice in the portal world. But really, in effect, Mal, I imagine it's not necessarily just right move. What you're saying is there's an over reliance on certain portals,
Yes.
and there is another way.
But,
But over
ab-
to you. Tell us
ab-
what you've been doing.
Absolutely that. So yeah, listen, as you say, I had the joy of going to 60 locations in 60 days on my little Right Move Resistance tour a few weeks ago. Saw hundreds of amazing agents, and the point of it was genuinely to kind of go out and meet everybody where they are. I could have done it in one Zoom, as everybody kept telling me, and that probably would have saved a lot of, it's only a lot of miles. But no, look, I think what I found out, what I came across was like a lot of agents who are deeply, deeply frustrated, who feel that they are in a position of kind of arm lock, where they can't get out of this relationship that's a little bit kind of toxic and a little bit awful. When the only thing they hear is price increases whenever their reps come round, and it doesn't just feel like a relationship; it feels very much more like a kind of a tyranny. So what I have been very excited by, and the reason why I kind of launched this whole thing is that the AI is already changing how consumers behave. And the last time that happened, sort of in earnest, was back in 2000 when print was the big bad,
Yeah.
and Rightmove ran to the rescue, along with others. I was building Prime Location at the time, and helped to solve that particular problem. And I think right now we're in a similar situation where AI is helping consumers to find other ways to find their dream home. And that is a huge, huge, huge opportunity, I think, for agents the country over to finally start to see a different way of listing properties, a different way of receiving services from AI portals, that is going to be really good for everybody, because I don't think it's been very good for most people for a long time.
So in summary, video killed the radio star. AI is gonna kill the portal stars, right?
Love that. Very, very true. Yeah, exactly. So I think that I don't know about you, but I'm using ChatGPT for an insane amount of things already. But even just talking to agents who are at one office firms in villages across the country, they're starting to use AI for stuff, right? Instead of Google, for a lot of searches and things like that. And it's when you realize that actually you can just articulate your dream home to ChatGPT. You can say, I want to make sure that it's got a riverside setting, near an outstanding school, and a car parking space, and near the train station, and I don't know, with a massive garden, whatever it is, and near ballroom dancing classes. Those things are all possible, and then AI will go and find the perfect properties for you using that search.
So that is what's different about sort of AI listings, isn't it? It is or AI searches. They're much more narrative driven almost, and there is this prevalence also of people not just typing it in saying, please show me houses with gardens that face in this direction, but people also doing it via voice. I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm doing that. I'm holding something there. There you go.
Walkie-talkie, yes.
But the people are using voice search as well. They're describing, I guess what I'm trying to say, rather than it's a drop-down menu, three beds, semi-detached, bungalow, all that sort of stuff. It's much more open to narrative. It's a story they're telling. This is what I want.
Yeah, this is my lifestyle. Yeah,
Yeah.
go find something that fits my lifestyle. And you're absolutely right. So, one of my favorite stats is it apparently is 3 times quicker to talk than it is to type. There we go. Who knew? So, humans being, some might say lazy, others might say efficient, as we are, pretty soon we're not going to be bothering typing. And I think that's really interesting from almost the sort of demographic point of view as well. Now, new technologies tend to be young people, right? Being bloody annoying and basically doing things different to their parents and all that sort of stuff, just because
Yeah.
and we're all stuck in our ways and going, oh well, it was so good when it was just, I could do this filter. But actually, for people who are time poor, let's say most of us, actually being able to talk and just kind of get answers and have a chat is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, even for the older demographic, people who perhaps have got poor.
I was just about to say, I hope she's not listening to this, but I was talking to my mother who who will now use AI or ChatGPT to search for things instead of Google. And the reason that it's easier is that she can sort of babble along a little bit and ask it for stuff. And because it's magic, for that generation, it is absolute magic. This thing knows me, it knows how I type. They can also make spelling mistakes, and it's still, I mean, it's amazing how little of a sentence, grammar, spelling you need to put into it for ChatGPT to sort of interpret it. Funnily enough, I wrote the other day, I was using ChatGPT, and just a quick shout out to our friend the Viking, Christian Byfield,
Love that
who,
guy.
of course, spells his name Kristjan. And
Mhm.
of course, ChatGPT just corrected it for me to Christian because it assumed I was drunk. But that's the beauty of it. You can put babble into it, and as long as it's got a semblance of, or even if it rhymes with what you wanted to say, it's going to spew out something. And I think because it is that intelligent and they think it is that magic, the older generation actually prefer it to Google, which was a little bit
Yeah.
prescriptive for them, wasn't it?
I think that's so true. And I think it's really, really exciting because, like I said, rather than it being taking ages, for the younger generation to get to an age where they can afford houses, like when they're 65 or whatever it is, and, for that to happen now, AI is actually already addressing some problems that are out there and that the older generation, the vendor generation, the landlord generation are finding. So I think that's like super, super exciting. And so on the back of that and on the back of the tour, what we've been doing is basically building out this AI portal. It's called for its code name right now is Intel Prop. Now we are going to reveal everything for the brand at EA Masters on the 4th
Ooh,
of November.
I've
So
heard of that. It's a rather small affair
I
run
think
by a fellow who's
there's a
not
big
very well known called
there's a bigger
Peter
one
Knight
coming
or
up.
something. I don't know.
There's a bigger one coming up a few weeks later. I think it's going to, going to really blow that one out of the water. But yes, so we're getting that out there with a view to making sure that everything's perfect for the time of the RAN conference and so on. But yes, it's so we are really, really pushing ahead. We've got nearly 3,000 branches already signed up to go to be ready to list with us at launch. Now that compares with when we were launching Prime Location back in 2000, we had about 1,200 branches. So, ready 2, 3 times as much as that, which is great. And we're not launching for another 4 or 5 months. And yeah, just in terms of it catching the imagination of agents, this is a free to list portal. All right. So one of the great things about AI as well is AI is able to do some really brilliant monetization from the consumer viewpoint. It remembers to talk about removal firms, and it will also help you to redecorate your house and you can buy stuff through it. So yeah, there is plenty of exciting stuff within it, embedded in it. And it's
So
just,
hang on, wait. I need to stop you there. Free to list. Will it always be free?
yes, we will
Okay.
guarantee that. Absolutely. So yeah, the whole point of this is, and actually there's a real kind of fail safe and confidence that people can have with that because with AI, wherever, if you've got one property listed somewhere on the internet, then AI will find it. Okay, so it does not need you do not need to pay Rightmove to be just for that property to be discovered by AI. Now you may need to pay Rightmove for a period of time because your vendors still believe that they need to be on Rightmove, but that will change. But for now, you don't need to have yes, that property wherever it is will be discovered. So what does that mean for us? What that means is we don't want to charge you because if we charge you, you have a reason to not list with us. And we don't want that. So we are not going to charge you because we don't want to give you any reasons to not list with us, basically. So yeah, so we'll be free, always be free, and that's our commitment.
So
And
I've got some questions that will relate to specifically to both the RAN and Kerfuffle members, but we're going to come to that in a second. Personal question to you. I forget because you said prime location there, and I forget that actually you cut your teeth, I suppose, in Portal Land a long time ago.
a very long
How
time.
does it feel to be sort of, did you ever imagine that you would end up circling back to this?
Do you know what? It is so funny. So yeah, I was very young back in 2000. I was 27. It was just like the most amazing kind of time where, you're working for this really funky startup and it's kind of building some really amazing things. And then, 5 years later, we sold it for like 48 million quid. So it was like an amazing, amazing time. But for most of the first kind of couple of years, I spent my entire time explaining what the internet was to estate agents, which is understandable, and now
Yeah.
everybody goes, oh, of course it's that. But I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm explaining AI to estate agents. And in 3 years' time, everyone will go, yeah, of course we know what AI is. But right now we're in that like wonderful zone where everyone's going, ooh, it can do that, can it? That's amazing. That's like magic. So yeah, it's I, I hesitate to say that, all of the things that I've done, including Zoopla as well, have been leading up to this moment. But it kind of is because I kind of know what I'm doing with the portals
So he
and the AI
knows
as
what
well.
he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, but can we trust you?
Yes.
Now, how can we trust you? Do we need to select the traffic lights on a screen there? How do we know it's you? No, but seriously, in terms of let's put it this way. It's a mass I'm an agent and let's say I pay to display all my properties on the various different portals. And the reason why I am so tied to the portals is that my customers expect me to give them full visibility.
Yeah,
I think that the leap of faith comes from the agent first, who will then in turn educate their customers and say, look, you no longer need to be on a portal to get that visibility. But it is a leap of faith, so you do need to have trust. So when I come across to you, I suppose one of the things that I need to be able to do is to trust that I'm not jeopardizing my entire business by doing that.
100%. So listen, one of the things you won't ever hear me say for the next couple of years is you need to come off Rightmove. Let's all come off Rightmove. Okay, that game is not a game that I think it's a movie that we've seen a number of times, right?
Yeah.
So no, for me this is very much a parallel kind of thing. So again, this is free. So it's free with us. So you can run this alongside your current procedures, all your advertising listings, everything you're doing, but just see what we do. And as we build and as we grow and as we manage to get ourselves into the right places, what I think agents will find is that they'll start talking about, yes, oh, and by the way, yeah, of course we do the portals, of course we do that. But we're optimized, we're going to optimize your property for AI. So, you use ChatGPT for some random stuff like, which is the best soap. Also, you can do it to kind of find your property, your dream home. And they'll, be sitting with a vendor and a vendor will be going, oh, what, really? And then they'll start going on to Intel Prop, using it, discovering actually they can find their dream home. And then they'll be kind of evangelical about it. And this, again, this is a playbook from 2000. This is what Rightmove did, basically. But yeah, for us, I think that there is this, we're not asking for open-ended trust. What we're going to do is we're going to prove that we are serious. We're going to take, as long as time as you need. So if, it's still 2 years' time and you're still thinking that the right
You've got
best bet,
nothing to lose because it's free at that point, and you can
100%.
run it in tandem with whatever else you're doing.
Yeah, and I believe you'll win more instructions by having us as well. So actually, it will be for your benefit. And yeah, and I think that people will just become so much more comfortable talking about it. In 6 months, 9 months, a year time. That yeah, I think it will be a real kind of benefit to those, particularly those that kind of adopt early as well.
Well, if I was Rightmove and I was watching this right now, I'd be thinking two things. Number one, why aren't I talking to David Mintz? But number two, I mean that's natural, right? But number
They must think that.
two, I'd be thinking, well, hang on, if this is a threat, the easiest way for me to neutralize it is to buy it. So what happens, Mal, when Rightmove come knocking at the door with that massive charity checkbook? What do you
They walk
say?
around with. No, it's a really good question, and one you won't be surprised to hear that I get offered. Sorry, that I get asked often. So look, I think that there's a really decent kind of almost like a cyanide pill in the business. All right, so
Right.
where basically so we don't lock anybody into long-term contracts. So if you want to leave, you'll leave. Now, I would anticipate that if Rightmove came along and decided to buy this entity, then pretty much within seconds, everybody would be run to the hills. So it wouldn't actually be worth anything to Rightmove. So I think of all the entities out there, all the businesses out there, the least attractive, we would be the least attractive to Rightmove
So
because
what you're saying is you're not willing to personally turn down Rightmove's money, but it might not be worth the money that they're offering. I
I'm
get
saying
it.
that's not going to happen, and I think that's my point. Right.
Okay, it's an interesting thought, an interesting question. But genuinely, I think one of the other questions that I was lucky enough to see you in person, in the flesh in Manchester. You were at that fantastic event that was talking about AI, and we're going a little bit off track here, but bear with me. I think one of the questions that you got asked was, or one of the questions eventually that people ask is, well, if you're looking at investing in AI and if the world is generally using more AI, do we fear that the portals are going to weaponize AI as well?
Yeah, look, I think it would be naive to assume that that Rightmove, with its 400 million pound revenue and 300 million pound profit, has not got the smarts to be able to kind of look at AI and think we should probably be doing something in that sphere. I think what is really instructive is the fact that they haven't done anything. And I think that that is because they know the second they start to enable people, and again, as we've discussed, you can just go, I think about this kind of property and I visualize it, and then it arrives. That skips over all of the Rightmove kind of upsells. All right. So if I go onto Rightmove, then I have to go through an advert and loads of adverts for estate agents. Then I've got to kind of go through loads of featured properties. Then I've
Yeah.
got to kind of look at them all. And, of the 25 that are there, 20 will be like pointless. So all of that activity needs to happen on Rightmove for it to maintain its 70% margin. The second, it introduces AI search that skips all of that. They're cannibalizing their audience and the money that they flow through. So I believe they're going to resist this for as long as they possibly can. And by the way, if Rightmove's out there, then obviously you can prove us wrong by just doing it. But I don't think they will, because their market cap is now down to about 5.2 billion, I think, from 6.4 billion when they were approached by REA Group a year ago. So
Yeah.
it's down significantly. And I think they've just got to keep on pump priming. Johan Svanstrom, their CEO, said in 2023 that for the next 5 years, they're just going to keep on doing what they're doing. And they're going to increase average revenue per agent from £1,500 a branch to £2,000 a branch. Okay, by 2028. So that's their trajectory. That's their stated aim. That's what their investors are expecting. And I think any change to that will be dramatically impactful on their share price. And I don't think that that's something they're willing to do just yet. So I think there's time. Look, there are plenty of other portals around about, and I'm sure that that others will want to do it. But again, I come back to this idea that paying to list is not a sensible option in the medium term, because your property is going to be discovered anyway.
So I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that. And this isn't on my list of scripted questions, but um, paying to list,
Mm.
let's turn that around. Pay to get found, right?
Mm.
Because if you were to go to Google right now and search who is the best estate agent in my postcode, it'll probably say me. But and if you were to go to AI and say who's the best estate agent in my postcode, it may give you completely different answers because what Google is searching for and what AI is searching for is totally different things that we need to feed it. So me listing with you though, does that then take care of all of my I suppose we were used to SEO, weren't we? So whatever the AI equivalent is, uh,
AI or GEO is what they're trying to.
GEO is what they call it, right? Geo. Um, d does that basically, am I safeguarded then by coming to you? Is that ticking the box?
So that will help, because we are a national site, and we will have links from our pages. Unlike some of the portals, we'll have links from our pages to your website. So that confers authority on you. What I would say, and actually this is a good kind of tip to everybody listening and watching, what you need to do on all your branch pages is actually have kind of very clear statements about what makes you great in that area on your branch page, because that is what, when AI is being asked a question, it is looking for a relatively straightforward answer that it can almost see. So yeah, top tips are, make sure that it says, if you are the best estate agent in Kendal, then you make sure that you write that on the on their awards that you've won. Testimonials, make sure they're on all the pages. Don't have a separate testimonial page. Have testimonials on each of the actual branch pages
Yeah.
themselves, and that will help to power it. So that work on your website is kind of still the same as if it was SEO, but importantly, it's also almost as kind of fragile as SEO is, because at any point in time, these black boxes that are the AIs can suddenly decide that actually they've decided that that particular thing is not as important as previously, and they've changed the algorithms, just like Google has done
So
on.
we need to constantly keep on top of it effectively.
I think that's true, but like I said, the good stuff, the important stuff, winning awards, being amazing, getting loads of testimonials, getting loads of reviews, those things are always good. So keep doing that, keep being brilliant, and that will necessarily help you to get to the top.
Talking of things that are always growing and always good, listen to these statistics. You've already got 12.5% of the UK agent market committed to listing at launch, and that's growing by the day, as I said.
Yeah.
And you've also, I think you've identified that roughly 39%, let's call it 40% now. I mean, what's a percent between friends, right? Are already using AI search for
Yeah.
properties. And that's a growing statistic as well. So it's clear where the direction of travel is. You would be a fool to assume that AI is a fad and it's not going to impact you or your property business. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to talk to Mal McCallion?
Yeah.
Now, let me give you more reasons to talk to Mal McCallion. If you are a RAN or a Kerfuffle member, although this is free anyway,
Mhm.
what other exclusives are you throwing in?
Yeah, so listen, so we are very, very focused on helping agents to understand a lot more about what AI can do for them. So we're offering exclusively to Relocation Agent Network and Kerfuffle members the opportunity to have an AI assistant on their website. So the best way of thinking about it is kind of like a live chat, sits in the corner of your website, is trained to behave like you, to understand you. It knows all the areas that you cover. It knows all your team, your history. It knows all your properties. Okay, so you can actually use this to ask questions about, have we got any properties or a buyer coming on? Have you got any properties that by a river next to the station, blah, blah, blah. And that will actually go through all of your properties and find the right ones. So it's amazing for helping you win more instructions. It's really good for kind of cutting costs as well because people can talk to it rather than phoning up you and asking questions. And yeah, it's just a really, it can also help you to increase revenue per transaction because you can actually load it up with information about your mortgage partners, about your conveyancing partners, and it can actually offer to help on those kind of scores as well. So yeah, it's something that we're offering. It's for a year, it would normally cost £400 setup and £100 per month, but it's completely free to your RAN and Kerfuffle members. Yeah, we'd be delighted to work with everybody on that.
See, this is the only place that Christmas comes early. At the end of October, you can get these fantastic gifts and deals from our very own PropTech Santa Claus, Mr. Mal McCallion. This is fascinating, Mal, and I've got to admit, at the beginning when we all saw the Rightmove Resistance tour, yeah, it captures, like I say, it captures the imagination because we're always talking and thinking about Rightmove. And we all wanted to know what it's about. But now that it's starting to unfold, because everybody did, they asked you, well, what's going to happen? Well,
Yeah,
and you said to them, well, just sign up here and tell us that in principle you'd look at it.
yeah,
But now it's like you say, next in a couple of weeks' time, you'll be launching this.
yeah.
And there is an appetite for it. So this isn't, a lame duck. This is something that people want to see come to fruition.
They really, really do. And like, I speak to agents, as you can imagine, like every day, as I'm sure you do. And it's just so rewarding to kind of see that moment where they're just like, actually, this could really, really work, and we want to be a part of this. And there's, again, there's obviously investment opportunities in it as well. It's agent owned. So yeah, there's just like a whole, yeah, choose your adventure essentially. If you want to be a big part of it, you can be a big part of it. If you want to just inject data into it, then that's fine as well. But yeah, it's building like a movement. It feels like that sort of thing, and that's really, it's really rewarding and heartening, and yeah, and very a little bit humbling as well. So it's really good.
Well, you've got nothing to lose. You can see this as if you want, you can just see this as an insurance policy. Sign up, get on it. You've got nothing to lose, but you are also hedging your bets, aren't you? That effectively AI is going to become one of the number one sources of search going forward. And it's happening everywhere. People are doing the search from their cars, from their sort of at home on the devices that they've got. mobile phones. It's, very often it's not happening on a desktop.
Yeah.
But it's happening across all other mediums, and it's just fantastic. And like you say, it is multi-generational. I think everybody from the very young to almost the very old find it so easy to use. And actually, we like that it gets to know us a little bit. It's a bit creepy, but it gets to know you very quickly and your preferences, which I imagine for anybody that's looking at buying a property, it gets annoying, doesn't it? Every time you have to log in and then search criteria, you have to put that in again and again and again.
Yeah.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so as you say, you can kind of save. It's got memory now. Really interestingly, so ChatGPT has just released a kind of browser. So, almost a replacement for Google Chrome. They've done that this week. It's called Atlas. So, it is everywhere now, and it's really, really powerful. And like you say, it will remember you. If you take a picture of your kitchen table, then on our site, you're going to be able to add that kitchen table into images more, and see what it looks like in situ in various different properties that you're interested in, and you don't have to keep taking the photo. So yeah, just all those kind of things are just going to become sort of second nature. And again, just kind of reflecting back on sort of 2000 and what we believed was going to happen then, it's mind-boggling what is possible with this particular technology. And yeah, it's going to be just as transformational, I'm sure.
The future is coming. It's orange and it's friendly and it's Mal McCallion. And if you want to get in touch, they are lovely people, genuinely, who'll be ready to answer any of your AI questions because they know everything there is to know. And they are genuinely very helpful. And I think they just want agents to win at the end of the day, which I think is something we all believe in. Mal also does a fantastic podcast with my old pal Matt Goddard as well,
Thank you. Yeah.
with some dubious AI imagery that they release every week. But it is fascinating, so there's lots to follow on there.
Property
Uh,
AI reports, yep, every single week.
because there's a lot to keep it. I mean, it's evolving at a rate of knots, isn't it? Really, this is crazy.
We have to try and cut it down. We try and keep it to like 25 minutes. And I think this week we're on 34 minutes. So yeah, no, there's just so
But
much
there's
going.
never a week where you wake up and go, well, there's nothing new to report this week.
Yeah,
It'll be
exactly. Just sit around just going, well, so what should we talk about? No, never.
superb. Mal, always a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing you at the EA Masters and, of course, all the other great conferences that follow after that, including the RAN conference on the 11th of December. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Real pleasure. Thanks, David. Good to see you. Take care. Thanks, everybody.